Hi there. It's March 26th and time for Proverbs 26. Yeah, turn this off. Now, we finished yesterday the 30 wise sayings that we are supposed to memorize. Okay, memorize these. Keep them on your lips at all times. And some people can memorize stuff verbatim. Okay, I'm not one of those people, but just reading stuff, okay, especially reading it out loud, will put it in your memory. Okay. And Jesus said, don't worry about what you're supposed to say when you're challenged and time comes up, because the Holy Spirit will give you those words. And I've had that happen. The Holy Spirit has say this, and you say it, and it's something, maybe an obscure verse you read a long time ago, but it's in there. Okay. Once it's in there, the Holy Spirit can bring it forth. The important thing is to read it and put it in your memory. So, and we've done that. And the more times you do it, the more familiar they become. So today we're doing chapter 26. We're still reading Solomon's Proverbs that King Hezekiah's men copied down. Okay. Some of them you'll recognize, like snow in summer and rain in harvest, honor is inappropriate for a fool. Right.
Good morning, Emmett. In Harvest, Alabama, it's 41 degrees
Alexa,
Fahrenheit
stop.
with clear.
What is that nonsense? Alexa off. She's going to just start giving me her opinion, right? Okay. Alabama, right. I'm looking for notes here. Honor is inappropriate for a fool. Ooh, like the flitting sparrow or a fluttering swallow, an undeserved curse goes nowhere. Right? Shall not come, shall not light. If somebody says something stupid to you, don't worry about it. Okay. 3, a whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the backs of fools. They had no use for fools back then. Now they're celebrated and put on pedestals, right? It would seem. This whole thing's about fools, isn't it? Don't answer a fool according to his foolishness, or you'll be like him yourself. Answer a fool according to his foolishness, or he'll become wise in his own eyes. Now this was, consent not unto him his doings. Reproof him as the matter requireth. Right. Well, many things it says, this seems like a direct contradiction, right? In some verses it says the exact same thing twice. It says, don't answer a fool according to his foolishness. And it does say answer a fool according to his foolishness. Right? And we did some deep studies on these two verses, and you don't want to play into a fool's foolishness, okay? You don't want to argue with him on useless things, right? The sky is green, and I've got all these reasons why. You don't, argue stupid stuff like that. When their foolishness mocks God or belittles God or Christians, then you have to step in. That's where the Holy Spirit gives you the words we were just talking about. Then you have to step in, right? So he doesn't become overly proud of himself for something stupid. Okay? Interesting, right? 6, the one who sends a message by a fool's hand cuts off his own feet and drinks violence. Mm-hmm. Now, this is before they sent messengers. Now they use social media, okay? There's a lot of fools posting social media stuff, okay? If you buy into that, you're just hurting yourself, right? My mantra for the internet is just keep scrolling, okay? Just keep scrolling. Proverb in the mouth of a fool is like a lame legs that hang limp. They don't know how to use it, do they? Where are we at? We're at 8. Giving honor to a fool is like binding a stone in a sling. Right? A stone bound in a sling would not release and could harm the person using the sling. A modern equivalent is jamming a cork in a gun barrel. Right? Being honoring to these people will blow up in your face. A proverb in the mouth of a fool is like a stick with thorns. Well, because they're going to turn it around and use it against you. Right? Stick with thorns brandished by the hand of a drunkard. It's this note over here. Whereby he both hurteth himself and others. Right? Brandished by the hand of a drunkard. The one who hires a fool, or who hires those passing by, is like an archer who wounds everyone. Right? Shooting indiscriminately. Right? There's a lot of fools being hired now, huh? We won't say those 3 letters, but you need to hire people on merit and their ability to do the job. Right? 11 is a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his foolishness. Looking up at these, there's a lot of stuff in here you could equate to things that are happening right now and have been happening in the last couple of years, but saying things like that will get you banished off the internet, even though they're true. People don't like the truth. Now returns to his vomit, so a fool repeats his foolishness. No use for fools, huh? 12, do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. Right? Now, it doesn't say, do you see a fool wise in his own eyes? It says, do you see a man? Now, all this stuff they've just been saying about fools over here. No hope for fools. Right? How stupid fools are. And now it's saying, do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. And there is no hope for fools, okay? It said that. More hope is of a fool. For the fool will rather be counseled than he also. The fool sinneth of ignorance and other malice. Wise in your own eyes means proud, arrogant, conceited, haughty, all the things God finds abominations, right? Humble. He wants humble. Wise in your own eyes, this means you won't listen to anybody. You think you know everything. That's why there is more hope for a fool. Even though they're fools, you can talk to fools and they'll listen to you. Somebody wise in their own eyes will not. Yeah. 13, the slacker says, there's a lion in the road, a lion in the public square. We've read this at least twice now, right? Any excuse not to do anything, not to work, right? I heard it was supposed to rain today. No. A door turns on its hinges and a slacker on his bed. Slackers. Lazy people. They've gone from fools to lazy people, okay? People just don't want to work, right? Any excuse? The lion in the road. A door turns on its hinges and a slacker on his bed, right? Doors move, but they don't go anywhere, right? They don't go anywhere. The slacker buries his hand in the bowl and he's too weary to bring it back to his mouth. Yeah, mention being not lazy. This has other connotations to it too, though. Hoarders are like this. People that don't work. buy things. They never use them. They just stack them up to rot, when they could be put to use. Mm-hmm. In his own eyes, the slacker is wiser than 7 men who can answer sensibly. Right? It is part of their problem, right? Lazy people think they know everything. Okay, 17. Now, these are all highlighted from last time. A person who is passing by and meddles in a quarrel that's not his is like one who grabs a dog by the ears. I saw somebody do just this in a video the other day. It's very strange, and it brought this first to mind. There were 2 people fighting, and one guy had a German Shepherd standing there, barking because these 2 people were fighting. And somebody else tried to step in, and they actually grabbed this German Shepherd by the ears and tried to restrain it. The German Shepherd almost tore that person's face off, okay? It was wild. It's like there's that verse in real life, right? Key to this, mind your own business, okay? Just mind your own business. I mean, there are exceptions to that. If you see somebody beating on a child or somebody much smaller than them, or especially a man beating on a woman, if you can do something about that, you are honor bound to do so, okay? But just 2 guys fighting it out, hey, stay out of that. They're both going to turn on you and hit you, okay? Never ends well for you, which is why that's highlighted, okay? 18 and 19 is highlighted. Like a madman who throws flaming darts and deadly arrows, so is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking, right? People like this is a terrible thing, right? Like somebody shooting indiscriminately into a crowd is somebody, when says your neighbor, your friend, they belittle you in front of people. They say horrible things about you just to get a laugh and to make themselves feel bigger, right? It's no different than somebody shooting indiscriminately into a crowd trying to kill people, right? Says, I was only joking. That's not funny, right? Belittling your friends and tearing people apart and roasting them, they call it. That's not funny, okay? I don't find that funny. God doesn't find that funny when you belittle anyone, okay? Let that go to heart. Okay, these 2, I highlighted these because they go together. These are single statements. Without wood, a fire goes out. Without a gossip, conflict dies down. There's the word gossip. As charcoal for embers and wood for fire is a quarrelsome man for kindling strife. A gossip's words are like choice food that goes down to one's innermost being. Right? Mm. 22 is kind of separate. We have read that before. Okay. Like I said, these are King Hezekiah's been copying down Solomon's Proverbs that got included in here. So, gossip. This is about gossip, this whole thing. And I hate gossip. Gossip is the thing that tears churches apart, it tears families apart, tears friends apart. Right? It's when somebody tells you something in confidence and you tell somebody else. Okay? You have just become a gossip. And then that person, even though they may know it was in confidence, it's not their confidence. They're going to tell somebody else. And pretty soon everybody in church is going to know it, or everybody in the group is going to know it. Right? When somebody confided in you, that's what tells you in confidence means they confided in you. Right? And you are the gossip if you're spreading it around. Right? Without the gossip, conflict dies down. Without wood, a fire goes out. Right? If somebody, it stops with somebody, you shouldn't have told me that. It ends here. Okay? Conflict dies down. Right? As charcoal for embers and wood for fire, so is a quarrelsome man for kindling strife. There are people that are just busybody. Some people will poke. Once the fire goes out, people will poke it and find an ember and get it burning again. Right? And because they gossip, and it's because a gossip's words are like choice food that goes down to one's innermost being. Right? Chambers of the belly. We read this just a few days ago when Solomon said it. Gossip is a drug, okay? People like to hear about other people's problems because it makes their own problems seem less. Mhm. This is where drama comes from, reality television. Most of the news is just gossip, okay? It's just gossip. Stuff you got no business knowing. It has nothing to do with you, okay? We're not talking about politics, okay? You should be involved in politics. All those people in Washington are called representatives. They are supposed to be representing you, and it is your job to find out if they are representing you and not representing some lobbyist that's paying them more than you're paying them, which is the way it goes most of the time. Okay. But gossip is not your business. Right? Stay out of it. Let the fire go out. Right? And that takes prayer. Right? To not be addicted to that. Okay. 23 through 26 is one statement. Smooth lips with an evil heart is like a glaze on an earthen vessel. A hateful person disguises himself with his speech and harbors deceit within. When he speaks graciously, don't believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred is concealed by deception, his evil will be revealed in the assembly. Right? And you can't read this without thinking about some people on TV and some politicians that are just, they wear expensive clothes and say things that inside is nothing but filth. Okay, Jesus talked about this with the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the Sanhedrin. You wear the finest clothes and sit in the finest places in the congregation and get, first best seats in the restaurant because you are addicted to the glory that you get and the respect and adoration when inside is filthy. Jesus said this same thing, right? Just like this. But it will be revealed. They will be found out. And when some do, man, they go down hard, okay? When some of these people, you find out what they're really doing and get a look at some of that filth inside and that your representatives are doing. 27, the one who digs a pit will fall into it, and whoever rolls a stone, it will come back on him. Okay? It kind of goes with that up there, okay? You set a trap for somebody else, you're going to fall into it. And 28, a lying tongue hates those it crushes, and a flattering mouth causes ruin. Right? A false tongue hateth the afflicted, and a flattering mouth causes ruin. Right? So, there you go. Lots of stuff in here, huh? Yeah. Let's go over the highlights. A flitting sparrow or a fluttering swallow, an undeserved curse goes nowhere. Okay? If you don't let it, goes nowhere. People can say stuff. Right? Now, a person is saying, may your such and such be so and so, right? May the tires on your car all go flat. That's undeserved. That's going nowhere. Okay. And these are highlighted because they're alike. Don't answer a fool according to his foolishness, or you'll be like him yourself. Answer a fool according to his foolishness, or he'll become wise in his own eyes. It seems to directly contradict each other, but if you go back to the original language, it's when they are mocking God, okay, or the Holy Spirit. Then you have to correct them, okay. Their normal talk about stuff, just you're not going to get through to them. So it does no good to talk to them, right? Like these people that protest oil, okay, by destroying artwork and doing stupid stuff and they want to stop oil. And you could walk up to them and find 60% of the stuff on their very person was made with oil, okay? But you can't tell them that. They're not going to listen to you, okay? You're not going to say, do you know that the ink on your shirt is a petroleum product, right? Do you know the banner you're waving is a petroleum product? The paint that you're throwing on that is a petroleum product, right? Along with your shoes and your belt and your clothes. But they won't listen. So do not answer a fool according to his foolishness, right? But when somebody is belittling God, the Holy Spirit, right? You should say something, okay? And pray to the Spirit to give you the words, and you can. Okay? 12 is highlighted. Do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. Mainly because fools, you can talk to a fool. They will listen. They won't get it, okay? They're going to do what they want, but they'll listen to you. A man wise in his own eyes will not listen, okay? He knows everything, right? He knows everything. You can't tell him anything. When somebody thinks they know everything, they can be taught nothing. So there is more hope for a fool than somebody who is prideful and wise in their own eyes. And everybody knows somebody like this, okay? Everybody knows somebody because they think they know everything, right? Instead of being humble and saying you can't know everything, right? We'll find out in chapter 30 that the man says that Agar, a very wise person in his own right, says, I have found out that I am stupid, right? To be truly wise is to know how stupid you really are, how little you actually know, right? Get into another talk here. Okay. And these were all separated just because it was easier to read them with that single statement. Right? And they cut the verses up when they shouldn't have. Okay. It just should have been one verse, but. Right. Person who's passing by muddles in a quarrel that's not his is like one who grabs a dog by the ear, right? Mind your own business. Right? Like a madman who throws flaming darts and deadly arrows, like somebody shooting indiscriminately into a crowd, right? So is a man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking, right? Just kidding. No, that's not funny. Gossip. Without wood, a fire goes out. Without gossip, a conflict dies down. Okay? Somebody tells you something, don't repeat it. As charcoal for embers and wood for fire, so is a quarrelsome man for kindling strife. Some people feed it. They just feed it, okay? Gossip's words are like choice food that goes down to one's innermost being. It is a drug, and if you let that get into there, you will, like all drugs, you will need more of it, and more and more and more, right? It's a billion-dollar industry, people feeding this gossip today, especially on the internet. Hey. This is about some people that rise to power. It shouldn't, right? Smooth lips with an evil heart are like glaze on an earthen vessel, right? The inside is nothing but dirt, but the outside is pretty. A hateful person disguises himself with his speech and harbors deceit within. When he speaks graciously, don't believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred is concealed by deception, his evil will be revealed in the assembly. Right? At some point, it will. Right? Right? The one who digs a pit will fall into it. Whoever rolls a stone, it will come back on him. Okay? And you can't name names because they watch you, especially on YouTube. They listen for this stuff, and they'll cut you off, right? Because they are part of the deception. Okay. So there you go. That's Proverbs 26. Lots of good stuff in there. Oh. Stay tuned later. We are going through the book of Luke. I think we're finishing chapter 2 today. And the afternoon studies are very short studies now because they stretch the New Testament out into a whole year. So it's half a chapter. So the videos are usually, usually under 10 minutes, sometimes under 5. But we are reading through it. And like we said, if you read it, it will stay in there. All right. And the Holy Spirit can bring it up when you need it. All right, so we are reading it, okay? We've read this over and over again, and we're reading it again. Today we're doing Luke 3, so stay tuned for that. Give us a like if you think about it. But tomorrow we'll continue. See ya.